Know someone affected by Alzheimer's disease. Some 5.2 million people in the United States suffer from the disease, and the healthcare costs from it add up to more than $200 billion a year.
But there's no measuring the emotional costs that Alzheimer's takes on the loved ones of those afflicted. Here to talk to us about that is Dayna Steele. She's something of an expert on Alzheimer's and authored the book Surviving Alzheimer's with Friends, Facebook, and a really big glass of wine. There's
great
the book
title.
there.
Really big.
Thank you for joining us. Now,
Thank
we understand you have first-hand experience with
Actually, my mom passed away of Alzheimer's in October, and the way the book came to be was I chickened out and I posted on Facebook, Mom has Alzheimer's, because I didn't want to say it 100 times.
Must have been cathartic for you to do that. Well, you're an expert on the caregivers, and I'm so sorry for your loss.
Thank you, thank you.
What advice would you give if you find out your loved one has early onset?
You know, I do a lot of work with caring.com, and I advise people to go onto sites like caring.com and communicate with your family. Get as much information as you can. You're an extremely well-read, intelligent woman. Both of you are. I thought I was. And when somebody says the words, your mother has Alzheimer's, I didn't know where to begin. And that was another reason for writing the book, is I wanted people to have a list of resources to help them through all of this. And I also have a really dark sense of humor, and I started posting things on Facebook going, what's wrong with me? And people would post equally funny things, and that was the cathartic
humor
part.
helps.
Yes.
It really does.
You laugh or you cry.
Yeah, exactly.
Ellen has a family member who has Alzheimer's. My mother was diagnosed recently with Alzheimer's. So everything you're saying really rings true. You don't know where to go, and there are things you want to laugh about because it's so bizarre.
You do. My mom, they dressed her up in a cow shirt to get the free meal at a fast food restaurant, and they all fell over. I made sure no one was hurt before I posted it, but I'm from Texas. That's cow tipping.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, how could you not post that?
And a big challenge when it comes to the early onset diagnosis, because that family members that are left with it, a big health care costs involved.
Communication. Immediately start communicating. Where do you want to live? How do you want to be taken care of? Do we have any money? Where are the bank accounts? Is there anything we need to know? Communicate, 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 and nobody wants to talk about it because it's eventually
It's scary.
Yeah, it's uncomfortable. And we recently reported that diet and exercise may help in Alzheimer's.
That, and I read a study that said red wine, champagne, and dark chocolate. I'm sticking with those studies.
I like that.
You know, just live your life every day to its fullest.
Sure.
And talk to my 16-year-old and 20-year-old sons. They know my wishes. So there's not going to be any guilt. That's another thing we hear at Caring a lot.
Right.
How do I deal with the guilt? Did I do it? I had a lot of guilt.
Right.
I had no idea. We'd never had anybody in the family with anything like this. So.
Well, thank you so much for giving this coping mechanism for other people who are dealing with it. It's called Surviving Alzheimer's with Friends, Facebook, and a Really Big Glass of Wine by Dayna Steele. Thank you so much for joining us, Dayna.
Thank you. Thank
really
you for
appreciate
having
it.
me.
Thanks, Dayna.